Well, hello everyone. We are going to talk about Fistful of Lead. Do a little flip through here. I figured rather than using the book itself, we could just look at the PDF. That way we could go through this a lot easier. Anyway, this is our second edition. What's different about it, you might ask? Well, we basically brought it up to match most of our more modern versions of the rules. Originally, this was, our first rule set, and I had written the very first iteration of it back in 2001. Not a whole lot had changed when we did the Kickstarter for this, and as the rules have sort of evolved, we decided it was time for our original rule set to catch up with the rest. So, see, this is full color. We got all the people we're thanking here for over the years that have played this game and have got us where we're at. Little intro on where the game come from and where it's headed. We need to play, of course, dice, miniatures, a nice a place to play, some rulers, and then we get right into playing the game. The rules itself, which are pretty darn simple, it involves cards. Each player is dealt one card for every miniature they control. So if you have 3 miniatures, you get 3 cards. If you have 5, you get 5. Most of your gangs, is what we call them in this, are going to be 5 players. So you're going to start out with 5 dice. The dice using this is usually a D10, but that's what's called the quality dice. That's what you use to make all your rolls with. However, there are some traits that allow you to roll different kind of dice, like if you're a greenhorn, you're only rolling 8-sided dice. If you're a gunslinger, you're going to be using 12-sided dice. Talk about the special cards. Some of your cards that you're going to be playing allow you to do special things, like the Queen of Hearts allows you to heal any wound that you might have and still have your 2 actions that you get when you activate. Nice little playthrough there. Section on the actions you can take when you activate. So, for instance, if you move twice, you're essentially running, so you'll see movement rates. There's no movement rate for running. You're just walking twice, which equals a run. You can move and shoot, shoot then move. You can aim and then fire, or you can just fire twice in a row. We talk about how rolling a 1 is bad. We talk about falling and creeping. How terrain affects the game. Shooting. One of the big things that we talk about in most of the Fistful of Lead games, because we don't keep track of ammo unless, of course, you roll a 1. Our little heroes aren't firing a single bullet every time they make a shoot action in a very cinematic way. They're blazing away with a volley, a flying lead, reloading whenever they have a chance. If your hero steps out of the alley to blast a dastardly varmint and rolls a 1, he didn't step out with an unloaded pistol. He fired till it was empty into the villain. He just missed spectacularly, temporarily distracted by the bullets whizzing past his 10-gallon hat. So we're not bullet counting in this, folks. We talk about shooting modifiers to terrain and everything else. Got some great full color pictures. Close combat. We talk about how close combat works. Now, close combat isn't necessarily just fisticuffs. It's also close-end shooting. In shooting, there's only close, in short range and long range. Close range would be like right up in your face fighting. Knocking down doors, wounding. Basically, you can be shocked, wounded, out of action. How do you roll 0 or less? Well, there'll be instances where you'll have to subtract from your roll, and sometimes things won't affect you. But for the most part, you're always going to at least guaranteed to put shock on someone, wound them and knock them down, or just put them out of action. Each wound that you have, of course, is going to add to that. So if you've already been wounded, you add 1 to that roll. So the more wounds you have, the more likely you are going to be put out of action. So you can see here some of the states that we have. Just okay. Player doesn't have any markers on him. Shaken, wounded, wounded and down, wounded and shaken, wounded, shaken, and down. That's the worst. Recovery is pretty simple. I mean, to get rid of your shock the amount of accumulated, or to get it from being wounded. It's you have several options on how to do it. We won't get into it, but there is a risk-reward type action to this. We've also got some optional rules about gruesome deaths and heroic sacrifices. Tasks are basically anything you can think of, and you can decide whether it's an easy, hard, or regular or easy, regular, or hard task. So essentially, when you're shooting, it's a regular task, and you need a 5 or above. If you're shooting at long range, it's a hard task, which is 8 or above. But doing things like cracking a safe, or trying to swim a river, or look for something involve tasks. You can light fires. Let's talk about leaders, and you'll have each gang will have a leader, and how a leader affects everyone around them. We give you some turn examples, and then we talk about building your gang. You'll have a leader, you'll have a sidekick, and then you'll have some regulars to fill out the rest. Now you can trade in your regular spot for a group of rabble. These are henchmen, retrobates, and scum used to strengthen your force. So they're not very good, but you'll be getting bodies, so you can outnumber your opponent. Everyone's going to have traits. Your leader's going to start out with 3 plus his leader trait for free. Sidekick gets 2, and regulars get 1. Rabble gets 1 that they share. As you can see, there's a lot of different traits you can give them to kind of build the guy that you have, or gal, in your mind. There's even negative traits that allow you to take on more good traits. So for each bad one you take, you can take a positive one. And then your whole gang can have a trait that they all share. Like, they could all be killers. We've got weapons. We don't discriminate. We don't go into every possible variation of pistols that were used during the Wild West. Because for the purposes of our tabletop, they pretty much function the same and have the same ranges and things. So, and then we kind of break down what the differences are between each one. We've added in some things like dynamite and Gatling guns. Of course, every cowboy needs a mount, so you got to have your trusty horse in there who can also have things. Sample gangs, and we talk about how you can run a campaign. Pretty short. It doesn't take a whole lot. Each kind of campaign is done by a card draw, so you can randomly create your campaign. So diamonds tend to be gold related or money related. Hearts tend to be ones you're going to get bruised up a bit. Spades fall under the running the gauntlet. So there are usually pretty martial in their way they work. And of course, clubs are a survival scenario. So no renown is awarded in it. It's just about surviving. Then we at the end of you can decide at the end of your campaign how much you want to go to, how many points you want to work towards in renown, and this can lead to a final showdown once you decide how much renown you want to have. And what that is you basically have a final showdown with the other highest ranking opponent, decide who wins the game. Then we threw in some bonus scenarios from our old set, and some rules for townsfolk. We've got some nice layout templates that you can use for, like, if you want to play on one of the scenarios involves a train. We've got our markers that you can use. There's a nice little blast one for dynamite, and of course our quick reference sheet. So hopefully that gives you a nice look through what is in Reloaded 2, Reloaded again, if you will, and stop by Wiley Games at www.wileygames.com Wiley-Games.com and check it out for yourself. There's PDF and printed versions. Come on by and get them.